I am Alysa Kassay, running for U.S. Congressional District 6, and I am a common sense Democrat who believes in accountability. And I believe in fiscal responsibility and government competence. I am running for office because I reached a point in my federal supervisory career where staying silent meant becoming part of the problem. And because I spent decades inside the government enforcing laws fairly, and now seeing how Washington has decided to disregard all those rules, one of those was for me to carry out actions that I felt were crossed the line between what I believed was legal and right. I stepped down from that position and stepped up to fight because I believed in the Constitution, the oath that I took many, many years ago to defend the Constitution.
Thank you. What qualifications do you have for this role?
Well, I have, as I explained earlier, I have decades of federal experience, including, taking that oath to the Constitution. I believe that I know how government works on the inside. And as a supervisor, I led a very diverse team, which clearly that is, at least on the Democratic side of of Congress, looks like. But I believe that the knowledge and skills and abilities that I learned throughout my entire life in government will convert into results.
Thank you. And why should voters pick you over the other candidates in this race?
Because I believe that my experience to solve problems, which is what I believe is happening right now. I believe that our country is in serious crisis, and I believe that we need somebody in there who understands governing government policy, because it doesn't generally work like private industry, and therefore I believe that I can hit the ground running, on day one.
Housing and healthcare costs are rising faster than wages. What specific action would you take in your first term to lower costs for families?
Well, I would basically roll back all the things that Trump has done that was good for people, such as, the first time homebuyer credit and first time lowering interest and just increase federal incentives. And basically also, although I haven't really looked at it, I'm sure that he cut some federal funding from local governments as well. So co- collaboration with local governments and more on a federal level, that would also help to increase the housing. And as far as the healthcare costs, my platform actually has, I call them junk fees because I really don't know what else to call them. But, hospitals charge enormous rates you know, for toothbrushes and footies and just very small items. And, we don't know how much they cost. It's not like it's not like we can go into a hospital and say, hey, how much is this going to cost me? I think I'll bring my own footies and toothbrush, which actually is not a bad idea. I think that should be done. So just kind of reducing costs for people that are sickly, that need hospital care.
What federal policies or initiatives would you support to improve the long-term jobs outlook in Cabarrus County?
So District 6 covers Cabarrus County, but it covers all of Kannapolis and then a small sliver of Concord and maybe just a little other areas. So Concord and Kannapolis are probably two different structures. So, for me, I believe that, in Kannapolis, I would support federal investments in workforce training, redevelopment, and healthcare. And then in Concord, I would focus on housing, transportation, and small business support to manage growth because, both this will enable both cities to thrive. But I was just in Kannapolis a couple of days ago, and I can see the difference between, I'm sorry, Concord. I could see the difference between Concord and Kannapolis. And I think that all of that together will help both of those beautiful, wonderful cities.
What is one law that doesn't exist that you think should exist, and how would that law positively impact the citizens of your district?
So, well, the first one I touched on a little bit is, and that is to support a federal ban on the enormous prices of, the small items that the hospital charges you. Just kind of finding a federal way of regulating that, or whatever that might look like. But the second thing that I is on my platform as well is about data privacy, and um, it's not being talked about very often. But as a federal employee, as a supervisor, I had to, write up folks who sent out an email with the first four letters of your last name. To us, that's a privacy violation. And when I understood that the Department of Treasury here within the last, 10 months, opened up their vault and has now allowed virtually anybody to look into Department of Treasury data, that was extraordinarily alarming to me. So I believe that we need to have stricter laws in how governments and corporations take our data and how they use our data. And I believe that we should have a more control over the data that actually goes out. And when I say that, I mean even the North Carolina um, licensing bureau, even they sell our data. And it's in this tiniest little letters on the bottom. You can't even see them, or it's mixed in with 7 pages of legal jargon that nobody ever reads. It should just be more transparent if to allow us to have a voice in our own data privacy.
Thank you. And do you have a plan or any thoughts on how you could bring that law to life?
Well, so basically, I don't I find those two things something that is not partisan. I believe that it's either, I'm pretty sure that everybody would want lower costs for hospitals, and I believe that everybody, once they know that our data is not being protected, should be. So to get on committees, the proper committees, or even established committees that have those in the forefront would be an easy sell to constituents and people on both sides of the aisle. So that's the only thing that's how things get done in Congress is, forming committees. And, in theory, it sounds like a great idea. And that's how we work in the government as well. Lots of committees and lots of chatter. So I believe that those things will enable me to get the bills that everyday working people need and deserve.
Thank you. You have about 30 seconds, 45 seconds left. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I'd like to say that I am currently a big advocate for women's rights. I am there's not too many females running in North Carolina. I don't know how many there are, but I am one of, I think, five women that are running in, for House seats. So I believe that we need more women in Congress because we're the sensible ones to some degree. So anyway, I just believe that will help us get to where we need to be.